Good evening. My name is John, and this is the Homestead Diary. What you're looking at is the tile laid in the downstairs apartment, and it is done all the way around. Still needs some grout. Jamie is working on doing the grout. She was kind enough to offer to do that, and we're, of course, compensating her for that. And she did the grout last night in the bathroom, and I was able to reinstall the fixtures. So those are good to go. And here's the smaller of the two bedrooms. She'll, of course, get the heater covers back on and all that. But this is a good thing. The grouts and the tile and mastic and all that cost around $1,000 for materials. And then, yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy because about 5 years ago, we replaced the carpets in this space, and it cost us upwards of $1,500 for carpets. And so 50% more money, and yeah, they installed it, but 5 years later, it's trashed. And so finally, we are doing a permanent solution type thing, which is awesome. It wasn't really the intent of this trip, but it makes sense because it needed to be done, and we won't have to worry about it again. We might get an occasional broken tile, but we have some extras left over, and in the event that we need more, we can buy more. They're not crazy expensive, but they are pretty nice. And Jamie decided that she wanted to upgrade this cabinet here, which is kind of beat down. These cabinets, these base cabinets and wall cabinets, these all came from the upstairs, the kitchen that was built in the 1970s. And we took the old kitchen cabinets and brought them down here and made an apartment. And in the context of the time, that made sense because that's what we had available, and we were spending all our money on building out the kitchen upstairs and then the kitchen in the other space. But now they're definitely showing their age and their wear and whatnot, and she wanted to upgrade the island cabinet, and we said sure. And so she's going to take that top, which is essentially a sheet of plywood that's trimmed out and been used as a butcher block, and she's going to put an epoxy or something like that on there, and then she's going to put this underneath it, which is going to be pretty cool. And she's really excited about it because of this. You gotta see this fancy drawer. See that? It closed slowly and quietly. She's so excited. I think it's hilarious. Anyway, I guess that is one of the hallmarks of a fancy cabinet. And the guy that she bought it from was telling us that he paid like $500 for that cabinet, which, I mean, I believe it because it's got maple facing and it's got that fancy closing mechanism, and the sides of it are actually made out of plywood instead of particle board, which is a huge difference because the stuff that we bought 10 years ago that's installed upstairs, any place that there's been any kind of water difficulty, they're just thrashed. And unfortunately it's basically underneath the sink, but that cheap stuff that they sell at Home Depot and Lowe's as their off-the-shelf cabinets is just not cool at all. Hey, so we're gonna check this out up here. My other project for the day besides reinstalling the bathroom is reinstalling our floor in the pantry. And so, real quick, run back, because what am I drinking this evening? I'm having a Red Hook Big Ballard Imperial IPA. Good stuff. Really yummy. Highly recommend it. So anyway, we're gonna go back and we're gonna check out. So this stairway this is looking up from the what we call the veranda unit. The veranda unit has this little pantry, which, by the way, Amber and I slept in there for a couple of weeks one time when we rented out rooms upstairs. That was, I think that was after we slept in the shed out back for a couple of weeks. Anyway, story for another time. So when the upstairs is rented out, there's no reason to have access. And so you can probably see the little metal things sticking out. Those are joist hangers. And so we have those 2x4s, which you see there at the top of the stairs, go into the joist hangers. And then I installed a piece of plywood and some 2x4s there to block the angle part. And then let's go up and we'll check out the space. You gotta kind of duck a little bit when that's installed, but it's literally, I could unscrew a half dozen screws and it would be restored. So, this is what it looks like from the top. It ain't pretty, but a coat of paint could be thrown on real easy. So, like I said, these go in those. 12 inches on center. They're only 2x4s, but because it's a very short span, 12 inches on center, and only about, I think it's 39 inches wide, it'll be plenty strong, for what will be mostly static weight. People will put in, pantry shelves and canned goods or whatever, and that should work out just fine. But check this out. Boom. Instant floor. Got a couple of hinges, and here we go. And this will support my weight because, sheet of plywood will do that. But once secured, so there will be a lock underneath so that the person living upstairs can't just say, oh, well, let's go downstairs. So it provides some security there, and the person upstairs can't come up because there's going to be like 1,000 pounds of canned goods in there because this is the pantry. Anyway, this project is basically done. We're just going to stick these 2x4s in there and call it good. And so I guess that's all for this evening. Doing good. I'm turning around here. Definitely very excited to be going back home because it's been about 2 weeks and it's time to get back to my family and get back to the real world and away from Babylon. This is part of how we support ourselves. But it's the kind of situation where we have a very unique house and a house that doesn't really fit typical parameters for what people are looking for. And so unless there's a family that's looking for a 7-bedroom, 3-bath house, it doesn't really market well. So we're at this point just continue to rent it out, and if all 3 units are rented, then we make a few dollars, and it's nice because I don't have to get a JOB, which, by the way, that means just over broke, in case y'all hadn't heard that. And it allows us to concentrate on the farm and raising family and raising goats and raising chickens and worshiping our Creator and focused on the things that really matter in life. So anyway, we're going to sign off now. Y'all have a blessed night.